encore une fois, il a eu la chance de s'en tirer.
What was the most important thing of my story with Andrew Scoppa? It was the assassination of his brother, Salvatore, in the spring of 2019. Inside the Sheraton Hotel, Scoppa attends the first communion of one of his children. I do remember that on the death of his brother, Sal Scoppa, I remember Andrew said that his brother was beat down like a dog. Even dogs should not be treated that way. In the grapevine of criminals, they knew that he had somehow, directly or indirectly, participated in the coup of important mob figures. And that's why I think there was act of violence against him. And so Andrew kills not only for vengeance, but also as a preventive measure because we're afraid of being killed ourselves. I remember we categorized him as a dealer. You see, Salvatore was among the two brothers. He was the crazy one. And Andrew was the one who was always fixing the problems the other caused. He was always the one who was trying to mend the situation, make the best of it, in order to avoid that the situation ends in a macabre way. There is a certain code in the Mafia circles that they obey, and there was clearly a wedge between them and that moral code by the way these assassinations were carried. These things didn't happen in Montreal before. For the mob. If they did that to his brother, imagine what was awaiting Andrew. What do you think? Then and there I decided, starting that moment, it's me that would play the game of being the dominant one. It takes audacity, I'm telling you. It's a psychological game, I tell you. And I thought to myself, listen, our project, which we conducted for several years, we should now carry it out thoroughly and quick. What was this project? To write a book on the secrets of the mob, told directly from the mouth of a mobster, one of the biggest in the country. I called Eric and told him, listen, what if I told you, me and you will go out professing Andrew Scoppa in Spain? And he says, what? Eric is a man of few words. No problem, my friend. And it was here that we met, all three of us, for the first time. We are in a park in the west of Montreal, and we went to seat up in the benches, which are right behind me in this soccer field, where it was obvious that we had a view 360 degrees of the entire park. It was Andrew that selected the location. Me, I had a hard time grasping the fact that I was there facing a character like that, because under normal circumstances it just doesn't happen. And we didn't know at the time that he was even under a second investigation, and this time for murder, and this time for several important actors of the mob. He's still under surveillance 24/7, and he is still frequenting me. I can tell you with certainty that police did do surveillance on the subject. They're good. See if we moved left or we moved right, to the east, to the west, north or south. There were police officers everywhere just to see where our movements were. And then the police started to have more serious doubts. You must understand that for the police, it was so dangerous what we were doing that their motivation could have only been peculiar or criminal. But the police are not journalists. They just don't get the importance for us. And for us, this meant the world. We were willing to calculate the risks. In such a public place, we did not think there was any risk. It could have went bad. The mob, it's Omerta. You're not supposed to say anything. But those 4-day trips in Spain, he made revelations that were explosive. And there are things within what he said to us that certain people in organized crime would probably not want us to know.
Nous, là, on a
Us,
recruté
listen, we recruited a mafioso
exercice
practicing his
qui va
trade,
aller au bas
who was
pour
worth at
30
least
millions de dollars,
30 million,
qui a été
who was considered
considéré
a
comme le
godfather
parrain de
of the
la
Montreal
Mafia
Mafia during
pendant
that
que je
time
le
that I was
rencontrais.
meeting him. And
Et
we
on
had
l'a
brought
amené
him
avec
with us
à se
to
confier
confide
pendant
for
une semaine
1 week
en
in
Europe.
Europe.
Il a dit oui.
And he said yes like
Comme
that.
ça.
You know, sometimes when you get to a certain degree and you did so much damage, you have to keep doing the damage, or else it's going to catch up to you. That's what you think in your mind, because it's like anything else. It's like if you eliminate all your enemies, you got no more enemies, right? But it's not true, because the more enemies you eliminate, there's always another one that's going to pop up somewhere. But if you're fighting somebody, or you're fighting people, and you get rid of most of the people that you're fighting, there's nobody else to fight you. So you're doing things that other people, they wouldn't dream of doing. So you're bonifying yourself to a certain status, basically saying, I'm the king of the hill.
What are we doing here?
Wow. Ce qu'on fait
Oof.
ici, c'est qu'on est
What
en
we're
train
trying to
de
do here, recreate our very first meeting with Andrew Scoppa within this room in this hotel.
Lui, il a été convié
Him,
d'acheter
Andrew,
des
he
billets
had
d'avion
bought
pour
tickets
partir
from
de Montréal
Montreal
au
to
Portugal.
Portugal, and
Ensuite,
afterwards
il était pour
he was
prendre
to
le
take
train
the train
pour
to
venir nous
come
rejoindre
join
ici
us here.
pour, disons,
All this in order to
dissiper les
dissipate
doutes sur
all doubts on
le fait qu'on puisse
to the fact that we could all
voyager à la même
travel all
destination
together,
ensemble, qu'il
that
était
he was
parti
gone even a
quelques
couple of
jours
days
avant nous,
before
qu'on
us.
n'avait
We
pas
had
eu de
no
nouvelles.
more news from
C'était
him.
vraiment un saut
It
dans le
was
vide,
really a
là.
leap of faith.
On lui avait
He had given
donné
us
rendez-vous
a meeting at 3 p.m., and at
Et à
3 p.m.
15 heures,
sharp,
ça cognait
he
à
was
la porte.
knocking at the door. Opened the
Ouvre la
door,
porte,
big
un grand
smile.
sourire. It's me. Il est
He is
toujours
always
à l'heure.
on time.
Moi, j'étais
I
pas
was
prêt.
not even ready.
J'étais
You
dans
were
la
in the
douche.
showers.
J'étais
My
dans la
friend was
douche.
in the shower.
Ben,
And
j'étais
so I
allé
went to knock on
cogner
Eric's
la
door
chambre
saying,
d'Éric en disant,
he's here. He's here.
Notre homme
Our
est là.
man is here. Andrew was preparing himself to do what no mobster before had ever done before him. I'll never forget one thing. He enters this very room, and he had less than 2 months to live. And someone so instinctual like him, I think, had to think about it a little bit. We were able to record him numerous times, and the first recording we got was right here in this room, first session at work, and we placed him in an environment which is very restrained, little room. He was sitting right there, seated against the wall. We are both facing him. He was there with his peaches or his apples as he was talking. I think it was the stress also because he ate so many fruit. He was eating out his emotions, I guess. Okay, first excerpt.
What gives you the most confidence is getting things done that are hard. Like to kill somebody, and people know directly that you did it. And the person was a hard person to kill. It gives you a stature, it gives you a bit more power, and you yourself feel more confident because you accomplished it.
Ouais. Ouais, alors, d'entrée de jeu, tout de suite, il avoue carrément que lui, ben,